Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Little crime drama here. Dick Kollmar starring as Boston-Blackie. Here's an episode originally broadcast January 22nd, 1946. What happens when you find there's a dead body in your apartment? That's what Blackie's got to deal with. Hang on with us here. Dick Kollmar as Boston-Blackie.
Sorry, the movie was so bad, Mary.
Oh, it's not your fault, Blackie. And besides, I think we walked out early because you weren't in the mood for a movie.
Wait, I'll open the door for you. It's funny, it's locked.
Funny, that's amazing. I didn't think the door to your apartment was ever locked.
No, I guess I locked it by accident when we went out.
Well, I'm glad to see you use keys to open the doors. Turning honest, huh?
Oh, I jimmy my own every now and then, just to keep in practice.
You don't need it.
Well, I'll tell you what I do need, something to do. We walked out on that movie so soon, we still have an evening to kill.
Well, I know the first thing you can do. You can turn on the lights. It's dark in here.
How's that?
Oh, Blackie, you're wonderful.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling myself.
That's where I must have heard it. Darling, the dining room doors are closed. Why?
None of your business.
But they're never closed.
They're closed now.
What are you hiding?
Nothing. You stay out of there, and I mean out.
Oh, now you have me curious.
You go in the dining room, and what you just said will be famous last words. I'll get the cards out of the den.
Don't hurry.
Now, you behave yourself.
Yes, Daddy. Now, just what is he hiding in there? I'm going to see. I wonder if... Blackie!
Mary, I told you not to look in the dining room.
No wonder you didn't want me to look. You're hiding a dead man in there.
And now, back to Dick Kollmar as Boston-Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy. Friend to those who have no friend.
Mary, you have to listen to me. Now, please.
Oh, no, Blackie. You don't pull anything like this on me and get away with it. Goodbye.
Wait, Mary, please. Believe me, I didn't know that body was in the dining room.
Oh, you didn't? Then why were the dining room doors closed?
Because I closed
And why
them.
was the apartment door locked?
I don't know. I told you I must have locked it by accident.
And I suppose it was just an accident that you didn't want me to look in the dining room.
I can explain that,
You
Mary.
don't have to explain anything. It's all very clear. I've strung along with you through every jam you've been in, but this is too much. You're hiding a body in your apartment. I saw it. I've never believed you ever did anything wrong, but this time I have to. I saw it with my own eyes.
Mary, what's the matter with you?
There's nothing the matter with me. It's what's the matter with you. I don't know what you've done or why you had to kill that man, and I don't want to know. I'm through.
Mary, please, don't go.
Your telephone's ringing. If it's Inspector Faraday, try to talk yourself out of that body in there. Goodbye.
Mary, wait, will you?
No.
Oh, now what? Hello.
Hello, Blackie. This is Charlie Kingston.
Charlie, I can't talk to you just now. Let me call you back, will you?
Look, Blackie, this is urgent.
It'll have to wait, Charlie.
But it can't.
Now what have you done? Gambled a $100,000 diamond again, or let one of your employees swindle you out of $3 million?
Look, Blackie, this is no time for jokes. I have to see you right away.
It may be a long time before anyone can see me, Charlie, even you. I have a dead body up here.
What?
A dead body, spelled C-O-R-P-S-E. And I'm calling the police right away.
I need your help first. Now, don't call the police until I've talked to you about the trouble I'm in.
Oh, all right. Where are you now?
I'm at my apartment. You've got to be up here right away.
Now, let's get this straight, Miss Smith. Your house was robbed by two men at what time tonight?
About 8:30, Inspector Faraday.
You were in your living room. You heard a noise upstairs, went up to investigate, and saw two men stepping out of your bedroom window onto the porch roof. But you didn't get a look at their faces, huh?
No, I'm sorry I didn't, Inspector.
So then you got your pistol out of the closet and got to the window in time to fire one shot at them, huh?
Yes. By the time I got to the window with my gun, the men were running across the lawn, but I'm sure I hit one of them. He fell just after I fired, and the other one helped him up.
Is this the gun you used, Miss Smith?
Yes, it is, Inspector. I have a permit for it.
Well, I'll have to keep this a while. Just routine.
That's perfectly all right.
Now, this paper here contains a list of everything the two men stole.
As near as I could make out with a quick inventory.
Yeah.
Really, the only thing of value is a pearl necklace with a ruby clasp.
I see.
I'd certainly like to have that back. It cost $5,000.
You'll get it back, Miss Smith, as soon as we get one or both of the men who robbed your house. And the way I work, say, how long can that be?
I don't know, Inspector. Do you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello, Jenkins.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Where's Mr. Kingston, Jenkins? He said he wanted to see me right away.
Mr. Kingston isn't here, sir. He hasn't been for 3 days.
Well, of course he's here. He phoned me from here less than half an hour ago.
Mr. Kingston's in Chicago. I'm not expecting him until tomorrow,
But I talked to him myself. He said he was here and for me to come right over.
Someone must be playing a joke on you, sir. Mr. Kingston's phoned me from Chicago only an hour ago, sir.
Well, somebody's crazy.
Are you sure it was Mr. Kingston on the phone, sir?
Yes, Jenkins, I'm sure of it. I'd know his voice anywhere. Tell me, is Mr. Kingston in some kind of trouble?
No more than the usual trouble all important businessmen are bound to have, sir.
Well, thanks, Jenkins.
You're welcome, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night, Jenkins. And what a night. What's the matter with me? Did I lock my apartment door again? Now the phone. Quiet, will you? I'm going to answer you. Hello?
Blackie, this is Mary. I've been trying to reach you.
Oh, hello, Mary. I just got in.
Blackie, I want to apologize.
Forget it, will you?
I just didn't think. I was so shocked seeing that body on your dining room floor.
I understand.
But will you forgive me?
Tell me why I shouldn't.
Well, I accused you of killing that man, and I know you didn't.
Now you sound more like the Mary Wesley I know.
You mean more like the Mary Wesley who knows you?
Maybe that's it.
Oh, darling. Are the police on their way up?
No, not yet. I haven't called them.
Oh, Blackie, but you have to.
Oh, I'm going to in just a minute. I had to go out. I had a call from Charlie Kingston to come over to his house right away.
Oh, how is Charlie?
I don't know. He wasn't there, and he hasn't been there for 3 days.
I thought you said he called you from his house.
Well, that's the weird part of it. That's what he told me exactly.
Were you sure it was Charlie?
Yes, I'm sure of it, but Jenkins, his butler, says Charlie's in Chicago.
Funny.
Yes, but not funny, ha-ha.
Yeah, I know how you feel. That body in your dining room was funny, too, but not funny, ha-ha.
Just think what a big laugh it'll be if Faraday comes in and finds that body here before I get around to telling him.
I wish you'd told me about it before I looked in the dining room.
Believe me, Mary, I really didn't know it was there.
Well, then why did you tell me not to look in the dining room?
I had a reason.
I'm sure you did, darling, but I'd like to know what it is.
Well, I'll tell you. Wait, Mary. There's the doorbell. I'll call you back.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Come in.
Hello, Blackie.
Why, hello, Faraday, old pal. What do you say we go downstairs and have a nice hot cup of coffee?
I just had a nice hot cup of coffee.
Well, then join me while I have one.
All right, Blackie. What's up here you don't want me to see?
Me?
Very funny, Blackie. But I'm not in the mood for jokes tonight. There's a guy going around town with a bullet wound in his chest and a $5,000 pearl necklace in his pocket. The pearls have a ruby clasp.
You don't say.
I do say.
But why say it's me?
Because it was a two-man job. They got away with the jewelry, but not before one of the men got a bullet through him.
Who shot him?
The gal they robbed, Jacqueline Smith.
I still say, why tell all this to me?
Well, maybe you didn't listen to me. I said it was a two-man job. One man was shot. That could have been your pal Shorty. The other one might have been you.
Okay. Where do I sign the confession?
I said the other one might have been you. You mind if I look around?
Yes, I do mind, but I'm sure that won't stop you.
That's right. I guess I'll start with the dining room.
Oh, Faraday, I have a wonderful kitchen.
Yeah, I know. But this dining room, I've never seen those doors closed before.
No?
Now, keep away from me. I'm opening this dining room door.
Now look, Faraday. Don't get any ideas.
I thought you were the one who said I didn't have brains enough to get one. Well, Hey, what's the idea of the gun in your hand?
Faraday, didn't you... Wait a minute.
What's the matter with you? Have you lost your mind? I turn around, you got a gun on me.
You didn't see a...
I didn't see anything.
Well, there isn't anything in the dining room?
No, but there's something in your hand. A gun.
Oh, I'm sorry, Faraday. I was just taking it out of my pocket to put it away.
Yeah. Well, put it away then, will you?
Sure. How's this in the drawer here?
That's better. Now I can look around the rest of this joint without keeping an eye on you.
Specifically, Faraday, just what are you looking for besides trouble for me?
A wounded man and a pearl necklace.
Well, I don't know where I'd keep a wounded man around here, but if I had a pearl necklace, I think I'd keep it in my safe.
All right. Let's start with the safe.
It's right here on the wall behind this picture.
Oh, you've been seeing too many movies.
I think you're right, Faraday. As a matter of fact, Mary and I walked out on one about 11 o'clock tonight.
What are you trying to do? Establish an alibi? Come on, hurry up. Open that safe.
It's never locked, Faraday. Even you could open it. A little practice. All you do is this.
Come on. Take the stuff out. Let me have a look at it.
All right.
Hey, what's this?
A string of pearls, Faraday, with a ruby clasp. But so help me, I've never seen them before.
Well, look what I have, Blackie. A gun. And you've never seen this before.
Faraday, believe me, I don't know how these pearls got here. You don't have anything on me.
I don't have anything on you, huh? Only the goods and a gun.
January 22nd, 1946, Boston-Blackie on Classic Radio Theater.
Here's some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if, like a lot of people, you just have a plan you're not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. It's a Christian healthcare sharing program. There are more than 400,000 members now, and they love it. In fact, MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate compared to that of health insurance. And MediShare really is the gold standard when it comes to healthcare sharing. It's been around more than 25 years. Members have shared more than $4 billion of each other's medical bills. Plus, MediShare is for you. It has saved its members billions by advocating on their behalf. Best of all, the typical savings for a family is around $6,000 a year. So if you think you're stuck with a high-cost health plan that doesn't have much to offer, think again. MediShare has a 98% customer satisfaction rating, and you are invited to be part of it. Call now. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. January 22nd, 1946, Boston-Blackie.
And now back to Boston-Blackie. Mary Wesley discovered a man's body in Blackie's dining room after Blackie warned her not to look in that particular room. Mary leaves in a huff, and Blackie gets an urgent call from his friend Charlie Kingston to come to his house at once. Blackie goes to his house, only to learn that Kingston has not been in town for 3 days. Back in his apartment, Blackie is forced to let Inspector Faraday search the place. Much to Blackie's relief, the dead body is missing, but Blackie's in a jam when Faraday finds stolen pearls in Blackie's safe. As we return to our story, Faraday is getting ready to take Blackie to headquarters.
If you take me to headquarters for this, Faraday, you'll only be making a fool of yourself.
Look, Blackie, that pearl necklace is hot. And it was in your safe.
But I tell you, I don't know how it got there.
Well, I do. You put it there.
Look, if I'd known it was there, would I have opened the safe as willingly as I did?
I don't know.
You know I wouldn't. For Pete's sake, I'm not that stupid.
Nobody is. Not even you.
Now put that gun away, will you?
No. And now that you mentioned guns, you pulled a gun on me when I went to look in the dining room. Why?
You'll never believe it, Faraday.
I never do anyhow. Why did you yank out your gun when I looked in the dining room?
Because I thought there was a dead body on the floor in there.
A dead body? You expect me to believe that?
No. I told you you wouldn't.
If there was a body in there, why isn't it there now?
I don't know.
Well, do you know how it got there?
Nope.
I suppose it walked in there, laid down and died, then decided it didn't like the place, and so got up and walked away.
Faraday, along with all the other things that have happened tonight, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
A body in your dining room. Ha! Look, if you have to lie to me, Blackie, why don't you tell me something I can believe? Anyhow, I belong at headquarters, and that's where I'm going.
And you're not taking me with you. This is really an unusual night.
No, I'm not taking you with me. But I am taking these pearls.
What are you going to do with them, Inspector? Give them back to the oysters?
No, but if Jacqueline Smith identifies them, I'm going to shut you up like a clam.
Who is it?
Open up, Mary. It's Blackie.
I know, Blackie. Don't tell me. Inspector Faraday's chasing you again.
I won't tell you, Mary, because he isn't exactly.
Do you mean you haven't called the police about that body yet?
I didn't have to, Mary. Faraday came up to see me of his own accord.
Oh, I can just imagine what happened when he found the body.
Then you have a wonderful imagination. He didn't find it.
What?
It disappeared as mysteriously as it appeared.
Oh, Blackie, you're joking.
I wish I were. And I also wish I knew how a string of stolen pearls got in the safe in my apartment.
Stolen pearls?
Stolen at about 8:30 tonight from the home of Jacqueline Smith by two men. Smith shot one of the men, but they both got away.
Well, Blackie, I have it. That body in your apartment is the man who was shot by the Smith girl. He came to your apartment wounded, put the pearls in your safe, and then died.
That's what I've been figuring, too, except that it doesn't make sense. I didn't know the dead man.
Well, at least that shows I was thinking.
Yeah, I've got to do more than think. I've got to admit...
Hold it a minute, darling. Hello?
Hello, Mary.
Yes?
Mary, this is Charlie Kingston.
Oh, Charlie, where are you?
If that's Kingston's, I want to talk to him.
I'm at home, Mary. Is Blackie there?
Yes, just a minute. Blackie wants to talk to you.
He wants to talk to me. I want to talk to him.
Here.
Hello, Charlie. Where are you, in Chicago?
No, I'm at home. I've been calling you all over town.
Look, what's going on? You called me earlier tonight and told me to meet you at your house.
Yes, I know, and Jenkins told you I was in Chicago.
Well, what's the idea?
I told him to tell everybody that. Look, Blackie, I want to see you right away.
Well, that's what you said once before.
I know, and I want you to meet me here at my house.
You said that before, too, and you weren't at home.
Look, I can't explain over the telephone, but I'll be waiting for you this time.
You'd better be.
Hurry, will you, Blackie? Bring Mary and put plenty of gas in your car. I'm going somewhere, and you've got to drive me.
That's a switch. All night long, things have been driving me crazy.
Where are we going, Charlie?
To my country lodge, Mary.
Look, Charlie, I'm in no mood to make excursions out into the country in the middle of the night. I have troubles in town.
And so do I, Charlie.
Well, look, you haven't done anything but tell me where to drive and sit there and watch for police cars. Either tell me what's worrying you or let me worry about my own problems.
When I tell you what's been worrying me, your troubles will be over. When we get to my lodge, you'll find the body you saw in your apartment.
What?
Charlie, what have you been up to?
My neck, trying to help someone. Now listen.
Oh.
The dead man's name is John Sully. He used to be my chauffeur in Chicago. He called me yesterday and said he was in town and was going to see his wife for the first time in 10 years.
Is that important?
I'm just telling you everything from the beginning. Turn at the next crossroad, will you?
I know the way to your lodge.
Go on with your story, Charlie.
Well, the next I heard from Sully was last night. He phoned and said he was in trouble and had a string of pearls he had to get rid of. He begged me not to call the police, and so I told him to come up to my house.
This is making a lot of sense. His body ended up in my apartment.
Right. He said he was hurt and couldn't make it to my house. He was near your place when he phoned, so I sent him to your apartment. I knew your door was always unlocked, and I knew you were out with Mary.
Oh, I see what happened now, Charlie. Sully went to Blackie's apartment, locked the door, and then died. Blackie and I walked out of the movies early and found him before you did. And then you telephoned, got Blackie out of the apartment, went to Blackie's yourself, and took that body out.
That's exactly what I did, Mary. In fact, I was in your building, Blackie, when I phoned you. I saw the lights on in your apartment and phoned to see if you'd discovered Sully.
No, I found him all right. His body.
Well, that's why I called you away from your apartment. I didn't want you in trouble for something I'd done. So after you left, I went upstairs, took the pearls from Sully and hid them in your safe, and then brought his body out here to my lodge.
Speaking of your lodge, Charlie, here it is.
I put his body just inside the door. Come on.
Hey, wait for me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. Here, give me your hand.
Thanks.
Here's the key to the door, Blackie. Open it, will you?
Thanks.
Blackie, what are we going to do with this body?
The only thing we can do, Mary, take it to Faraday.
Is that smart, Blackie?
It's smarter than carting it around the country. Wait, I'll turn on the light.
Well, there's the body again.
Yep, it's the same one, all right. Killed by a bullet wound in the back. From fairly close range, too.
Well, shall we take it back to town?
Yes, Charlie, then you and Mary take it to Faraday.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to see this Jacqueline Smith. She can identify Sully as one of the men who robbed her house. I can prove to Faraday how those pearls got into my safe, and I'll be in the clear. Clear? I know it's rather late, Miss Smith, but I'm Boston Blackie, and I have a few...
I know. Boston Blackie can be excused for anything, or so I've heard.
I'm beginning to worry about what you've heard, but that's beside the point. Miss Smith, you fired at one of the men who robbed you, didn't you?
Yes. I think I wounded one of them.
You did more than wound him, Miss Smith. He's dead.
Oh, good. Oh, how awful.
Well, you really shouldn't feel that way about it, Miss Smith. You want to be blamed for what you did.
You know, I never thought... Well, I just can't bear the thought that I killed someone.
Maybe you'd better sit down.
Yes, I think I better.
The man's body is at the police morgue, or will be very soon. I'm afraid you'll be asked to come and identify it if you can.
Do I have to?
It's routine in cases like this, Miss Smith.
But there'll be pictures in the paper, won't there? And a story?
There might be, yes.
But there can't be. I'm being married next week. To Roger Vincent.
Uh-oh, Dick Kollmar, Boston Blackie, January 22nd, 1946. The conclusion next on Classic Radio Theater.
Oh, come on, I hate you. You have no right to speak to me. You're stupid, you're evil. You believe in your God, guns, and gold. You shouldn't have the right to vote. We must fix this disgusting country now. We want socialism now.
Whoa there, little fella. Our U.S. Constitution protects your right to say these things, even if they are drivel.
Our founders believed in our inalienable rights granted by God, not some mafia. Our Bill of Rights protects your personal freedoms, your absolute right to speak to others, whether loving and kind or hateful and stupid.
Utopia doesn't exist. It only destroys. Millions of innocents slaughtered by the communists in Cambodia, China, and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
And millions of people were gassed by Hitler's National Socialist Party.
Where do you stand? Help us save the Constitution and restore our American dream. Go to SaveMyFreedom.com. That's SaveMyFreedom.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
Now on Classic Radio Theater, the conclusion of Boston Blackie, starring Dick Kollmar, as it was originally broadcast January 22nd, 1946.
His family's so stuffy, they'll never understand if I'm in the paper for killing someone.
Don't worry about it. Your name is Smith, and there are so many Smiths in this town, the Vincent family will never notice it.
Just look at this guy and let me know if he's the man who robbed you, Miss Smith.
All right, Inspector Faraday. I'll try.
Roll him out, Joe.
Yeah. Steady yourself, Miss Smith. There's nothing to this.
I'm all right. Thanks, Blackie.
All right, Joe. Pull back the sheet a little. There. Is that the guy, Miss Smith?
I don't know. I didn't get a very good look at him.
Well, can't you make a positive identification?
No, I'm sorry. I can't. I just got a glimpse of those men going out through the window.
Okay, Joe. Roll him back in.
Now.
I'm sorry I can't be of any help to you, Inspector.
You didn't have to be, Miss Smith. I just wanted you to see the body as a double check. I already knew this was one of the guys who robbed you.
You do? How?
The gun you gave him. My ballistics report shows it's the gun that shot and killed this guy.
I'm awfully sorry.
Sorry? Why should you be sorry? You know who this guy was? John Sully, with a police record longer than a roll of ticker tape. Thanks to your marksmanship, I have just one less crook to worry about.
Faraday, I'm ashamed of you. I never thought you, an alleged officer of the law, would compliment a murderess.
A what?
I certainly hope you're trying to be funny.
Maybe you think murder is funny, Miss Smith, but I don't. You didn't just kill John Sully, you murdered him. And there's a big difference.
Why should I kill him? I'd never seen him before.
Yeah, Blackie. How do you answer that?
Very simply, Faraday. John Sully used to chauffeur for Charlie Kingston.
So what?
So a few days ago, he told Kingston he was going to see his wife. They'd been separated for 10 years, but she'd suddenly written that she wanted to see him.
And what kind of a story is this? A Lonely Hearts melodrama?
It's the story of a very clever plan for murder, Faraday. When Sully went to see his wife, she gave him a string of very expensive pearls, saying he could sell them. Then, as soon as his back was turned, she shot him.
What is this to do with me?
It has a lot to do with you, Miss Smith, because you're John Sully's wife.
That's a lie.
Then it's a very strange coincidence that court records in this town show that 11 years ago, John Sully married a Jacqueline Smith. I looked at those records myself before I came to see you.
Oh, I see.
So you'd never seen this man before, huh?
Not for 10 years, I hadn't. I knew him when I saw him here, but I didn't want to admit that I was his wife, not with the police record he has. And I didn't see him when he robbed my house. All I saw were the figures of two men.
That's right, Blackie. It could be coincidence that she shot her own husband, thinking he was just a robber.
Yes, it could be Faraday, except for one thing. Just an hour ago, this woman told me she was going to marry Roger Vinson next week. How would she feel free to marry unless she knew her husband was dead?
Hey, Miss Smith. How about that?
I heard he was dead several years ago.
You knew he was dead or dying, Miss Smith, because you shot him. And not while he was running across the lawn, as you said, but while he was standing not 2 feet away from you.
Oh.
Powder burns on his coat prove
that.
Catch her, Blackie. She's fainted.
I've got a Faraday. She's passed out. But you've got her for murder. Satisfied now, Mary?
Of course I am, Blackie. As soon as I got home, I phoned you and apologized, didn't I?
So you know I'm not the killer?
I'm not sure about that.
Hey, what do you mean by that, Crack?
Well, on occasions you kill me.
Oh, Mary, that's terrible.
Oh, I know it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was so curious about what you were hiding in the dining room, too.
Oh, let's not go into that again.
Now, wait a minute. There's just one little point you haven't explained yet.
Uh-oh.
I have you, don't I? Just why didn't you want me to look in that dining room?
Must I tell you tonight?
Tonight.
Can't it wait until tomorrow?
Why can you tell me tomorrow, not tonight?
Because, my curious little friend, tomorrow is your birthday.
Oh.
And if you hadn't been so shocked by that body on the dining room floor, you'd have seen that my dining room table is covered with birthday presents for you.
Oh, Blackie.
So, happy birthday, Mary. And many happy returns of the day. But let's hope we never have another night like this.
Well, there you go. From January 22nd, 1946, Boston Blackie on Classic Radio Theater. Well, you've heard me talk about Mike Lindell, the inventor of My Pillow, and how his pillow's given me a great night's sleep. He continues to roll out new offers on his products. His latest on the towel sets. Now, towels aren't something you think about. I never knew what I was missing till I tried the towels last year. You've all helped build My Pillow into the incredible company it is today, and trust in Mike Lindell has given you a better night's sleep. Mike's now changing the game with a 6-piece towel set, USA cotton, extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in a towel. 2 bath, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths for a limited time, $39.95 using our promo code USA. It retails for over $100. Remember, all MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the Radio Listeners Square, use this promo code USA to get this price of $39.99 on the towels, or call 1-800-951-8175. Well, let's see. Let's spend some time in Pine Ridge, Arkansas. Episode of Lum and Abner, January 22nd, 1935, and see what's new with their matrimonial agency that they're putting together.
And now, let's see what's happening in Pine Ridge. Lum and Abner are having the time of their lives these days. The many interesting letters from friends all over the United States are subscribing to their matrimonial bureau. And the domestic problems the old fellows are called upon to solve are keeping them busy day and night. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Abner over at Lum's house, where they are going through their mail. Listen.
And here's a card from LLH, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Well,
Says there is a girl passes my house every day.
what the man say?
Sometimes she speaks and sometimes she don't. And I would like to know what to do to get better acquainted with her and get her to like me.
Well, I reckon why she speaks sometimes and sometimes she don't.
You know, I think the whole trouble here is they ain't been introduced to one another. Some girls are sort of fussy about such as that, you know.
Well, no wonder she don't speak if she don't know him. It's a wonder if she ever speaks at all.
Yeah, we got to figure out some way for him to introduce himself to her.
Well, why don't he just step out there and introduce himself?
He can't introduce himself and her walking by. He's got to stop her some way or other.
Yeah. Well, now, he might drop his handkerchief, and then when she goes to pick it up, well... Oh, that's right. No, that won't work.
No.
I'll tell you what he could do, Lum. He can take and tie a rope across the sidewalk, and then when she sails by his house with her head up there, while she'll step on the rope, and he can go over and help her to her feet.
No, you better not try nothing like that. I believe the best thing for him to do is just sort of catch up with her and walk along with her ways. Take his hat off his head and say, I don't believe I've made your acquaintance. My name is Lum and Abner. What might yours be?
Oh, no. No, I don't believe that'd do no good, Lum. No. He better use his right name. If he starts out telling her he's somebody else that way, well, they never will get along.
Well, sure, I aim for him to use his right name. I always
Oh, his name is Lum and Abner, too, huh?
No, I just used that as an example. And that's what I'd say if I was introducing myself.
Yeah, but you ain't the one that's going to meet her. He wants to know what to do for him to do, not what for you to do.
It don't make no difference what his name is. He knows what his name is.
Why, sure, he knows what his name is, but he's trying to find out a way for her to find out what it is. I still think the rope idea is the best.
Abner, we're going to have a domestic problem here ourselves if we don't quit arguing so much about how to answer these folks' questions. Here, let me have another one of them.
Yeah.
You get me so aggravated, I don't care whether he meets the girl or not.
Yeah, here's one here from clean over in South Carolina. Belton, South Carolina.
What's the problem? What do they want to know?
Well, this woman ain't got no complaint. I don't see nothing wrong here.
Well, read it.
I did. I just got done.
Well, read it out loud. I'll decide whether a complaint's justified or not.
Says, I want a little advice from you about my husband. He wants me to do the housework and look after the farm, too, while he rides around all day. Please tell me what to do. Yours truly, Wah.
Huh?
Wah. W-A-W.
Initial.
Oh. He ain't asking her to do no more than her share. They just do the farm work and the housework.
That ain't very thoughty of him, though, getting out and riding around while she's there working.
Well, maybe he's just tender-hearted, old Lum.
Tender-hearted?
Yeah, maybe he just has to get away from the place that way. I know I never could stand to watch my woman work, neither. Special chopping wood. I just have to take Plum out and go down to the barber shop or something till she gets done every time.
Well, if this woman's husband just insists on riding around that way, she ought to get him a job carrying a mail route or driving a delivery wagon.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm going to write and tell her, too. Read another in there.
Well, here, Lum, you read them for a while. I can think better when you're reading.
Well, here's a letter from Brohard, West Virginia.
Brohard?
Brohard. B-R-O.
I don't spell Brohard. That just spells Bro, B-R-O.
There it is. Look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Says, gentlemen,
well,
my husband and I get along fine.
Well, that's the first one like that we've got yet.
But he has a bad habit of talking with his hands.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with it?
Why, sure, if they're working for him, he's got to tell them what to do. You take a lot of hard hands that way, they won't do nothing unless you tell them.
His two hands, Abner.
But it don't make no difference how many he's got, Lum. I don't see nothing wrong with talking to him.
He ain't talking about hired hands, Abner. His two hands, these.
Them's yours.
I know it. He's talking with his hands, these kind of hands.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
He says he has a bad habit of talking with his hands.
Well, I do know. I don't see what enjoyment he gets out of that. His hands can't understand what he's saying or answer him back or nothing else.
I know they can't.
Looks like anybody'd have sense enough to know that. Howdy, Lefty. How are you today? Come on, wake up there. Here, how are you?
What in the world are you doing?
I just trying that out, Lum. I was talking to my hand here, but it never paid no attention to him. That won't work.
For goodness sake.
I just write and tell that woman that if her husband sits and talks to his hands all the time, he's losing his reason.
She never said he talked to his hands. She said he talked with them.
Well, that's worse than ever. She just same as saying there, his hands answering back. He talks with them.
Well, Abner, she said that, but that ain't what she means at all.
Well, they ought to write what they mean. These problems is hard enough to figure out without us having to read folks' minds.
Well, what she means is he used his hands to talk with instead of his mouth.
What? You mean to say that he...
Wait a minute, wait just a minute. I see right now I said the wrong thing there. He talked with his mouth, but used his hands to make motions with.
Make motions?
Yeah, you saw fellers use their hands that way. Somebody get mad and shake their fist in your face while he's talking to you.
Oh, that's what it is. He wants to fight, huh? Well, I don't blame him.
No, Abner. He don't want to fight.
Well, what's he doing shaking his fist in her face then? he's in the habit of doing that, well, she has got a problem, and I don't blame her a bit. I don't see how they get along at all.
You shut up for just a minute. I'll read the rest of the letter here.
Thinking it's just a
Get
woman.
some idea in your head, and it takes a stick of dynamite to move it out.
Well, I don't care. It just makes me mad to see a man bully a woman around that way. I wouldn't no more think of shaking my fist in Elizabeth's face, and no, I reckon I wouldn't. She'd about bite it off her.
He goes on to say here, I don't mind him talking with his hands around the house.
Oh.
Hands around the house. Oh.
Yeah, that's an awful big armful, you know it?
With his hands around the house, but when we go out in the car, he takes his hands off the wheel to point out all the spots of interest, and I am afraid he'll wreck the car.
Yeah.
Can you advise me how to break him of this habit? Yours truly, M.M.
Well, I do know. Well.
See, she just wants him to keep both hands on the steering wheel while he's driving the car.
Oh, yeah. If they get to fighting in the car, there's no telling what happened.
Abner, I wish you'd get the idea of fighting out of your head.
Well, I ain't wanting to fight nobody. He's the one that started shaking his fist.
Well, I'm going to start one here in a minute if you don't shut up. This lady wants to know how to break her husband of talking with his hands while he's driving the car, and we've got to figure out something here to tell her.
Tell her to tie his hands to the steering wheel. That'll stop him.
Stop him from talking at all. I'd go to point out something and his wife right quick and swing the car right into something. No, that wouldn't work.
No, I see it wasn't that.
Well, what's funny about it?
I just thinking, what happens if he started away with somebody he knows he's seen on the street? About turn the car clean around right in the middle of the road, wouldn't it?
No wonder this lady's rode in. I can see the trouble she must be having with him.
Poor little thing. Poor little thing. Yeah.
Mike could give him a batch of taffy candy and let him pull that while they're out driving.
Well, I don't know, though, He'd get that stuck all over the steering wheel, and then his hands would get stuck there. You know, that'd be worse than ever. He couldn't turn nothing in.
That is tiny hands there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, ain't but one thing that I see to do to a fellow like that, Lum.
What?
Just put him in a straitjacket. Dog, if he couldn't use his hands to point with ends, had him.
Couldn't drive the car neither.
No.
Now, we ain't getting nowhere this way, Abner. These folks been nice enough to write to our matrimonial bureau, be getting impatient.
Yeah.
We've got 200 or 300 problems here.
Why don't you just call up on the party line, Mom? Just tell them that we're having a little trouble, but we'll get to there just quick as we can.
Yeah, I expect I better do that.
Yeah, it's going to be awful slow going. I can see that right now.
Yeah, we can answer what we got here.
Yeah. Well, using a fire alarm right again.
It always gets them to the phone.
Yeah.
Everybody's curious about fires.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Receivers is just a rat now.
If that feller talked with his hands, they could make him talk over the phone. Then he couldn't use his hands, could he?
For goodness sake, we've quit talking about that. Hand me that list there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Howdy, everybody. This is the Pine Ridge Matrimonial Bureau. Lum Abner's president talking. Me and Abner's just been covered up with your letters, but we're going to try to get around to answering all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a few answers. Miss F.W. at Fulton, Kentucky, we're on the lookout for you a husband. And the 5 girls at Tuscaloosa, Alabama, we'll do our best for you. And Miss H.P. at Chattanooga, Tennessee, oughtn't to have no trouble in your case at all. And Patty at Grafton, West Virginia, it's going to be hard to find a man like you're looking for, but we'll try.
Yeah, that's one that want a man to do all the work.
And G.J.S. with that big car, you oughtn't to have no trouble. Now, you girls down in Vandalia, Louisiana, you've got the right idea there. Uncommonly smart young women. And CMS at Sedalia, Missouri, you got a fella already picked out for you. MJR at Davenport, Iowa, yes. Kate at Lincoln, Nebraska, yes. R.B. Richfield at Richfield, New York. Go ahead with your present plan. And Herb at Fort Worth, Texas, you better keep the wife you got. She's probably a heap better than you deserve. And D at Wichita, Kansas, your oil proposition sounds good. I believe you'll bring in a goocher there. Well, that's all the questions for today, folks. We're more likely to ring you up again tomorrow.
Well, the Pine Ridge Matrimonial Bureau is certainly a success. And from the response the old fellows have had, we'd say it's just what this country needed.
Oh, boy. January 22nd, 1935, Lum and Abner on Classic Radio Theater.
Now, it's time to check on the whereabouts of Wally Ballou, who today has gone up to Connecticut to an antique factory. There to talk with the owner and manufacturer. So come in, please, Wally Ballou.
Lou, here at the antique factory, which seems to be going at full tilt here today as we walk through period furniture of an old and bygone day. Mr. Furtnall, is that your name?
Furtnall, F-E-R-T-N-A-L-L, Furtnall.
I've never known a Furtnall before. You're probably the first Furtnall that I've ever come across.
Well, there are some other Furtnalls here in town. There are, I don't know, I imagine there are Furtnalls somewhere else in the country, and I would assume they're all relatives.
Kind of an antique name, in other words. And
so Randolph Furtnall came over here many, many years ago.
Uh-huh.
About 1911.
Tell me this, what are you manufacturing most here today? I noticed...
We're making 16th century colonial antiques here now. Old beds and old tables and chairs, closets,
That's
things like
television cabinet there, isn't it?
What?
Is that a television cabinet?
That's right, yes, sir.
Well, is it authentic antique, or...?
Yes, it's reproduction. But we won't tell anybody that when we sell
In other words, you sell these for the real thing.
Oh, sure. It's awfully hard. We put our own scratches on it, and we wax it, re-wax it.
We wax it, I think.
Yes, we do. And then we ship them out.
How about these wormholes in here? How do you simulate the effect of wormholes in the wood?
We use screwdrivers. We also use little drills, and sometimes if we can find a good termite, we'll put them to work on a piece of wood.
Uh-huh. And these pieces, I understand, bring a pretty good price.
Yes. Oh, yes. There are, antique fanciers who will pay quite a bit of money for one of these phonies.
Uh-huh. And without even knowing that it's not the original piece.
No, but they have just as much enjoyment as though George Washington had actually sat on the chair.
Well, now, for instance, this television cabinet, do you tell people that this goes back to 1600, 1700?
No, we don't. We don't mention it at all.
Has anybody ever raised the point that they didn't have television back then?
Yes, but we say that it was... when the old folks used it, it was to keep dishes in or something like that. And we have hired 4 gentlemen to actually sleep in the bed one night, or to sit on the chair, or to look in the mirror, or some such. We have a Benjamin Franklin working for us. We have a George Washington. We have a James Madison. And we have a Roland E. Fluring.
Uh-huh.
And these fellas, you take George Washington, he comes up here and he sleeps in the bed. And we can actually say that George Washington slept in that bed.
Here we see the actual bed that George Washington slept in.
That's right. This George Washington is an 11-year-old kid from Skaneateles, New York.
Here at the Furtnall Antique Factory in Furtnall, Connecticut. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you, sir, and I'm sure we've learned something.
I hope so, and it's always a pleasure to have you come by here from your great radio program.
I hope so. This is Wally Ballou returning you to Bob and Ray.
Yeah, Bob and Ray on Classic Radio Theater. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting, contact me there, and plus there are also links to our social media accounts. If you miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. You can hear them on our Facebook pages. You can hear them on our website, classicradio.stream, or anywhere podcasts are served if you just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please take a moment to thank this radio station, support their advertisers, and as always, tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater right here on your favorite radio station.